What's up, beautiful souls? All right, I've got a reading. I've sat with the energy. There's a lot of messages here, kind of redundant, but presented in different ways. Moreover, the download I received today is unique in itself. It's very touching, but different nonetheless. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with the download. You'll immediately know whether or not this is a reading for you, and probably by just the energy itself. So I sit in meditation. The first thing I'm getting is an intellectual energy. This energy of no time for nonsense. But then immediately I hear as if your higher self, if you are speaking to me. I've been through hell and back. I survived not by having my head in the clouds, nor my feet in the sand, but purging through what was and is. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. And immediately I'm hearing Rocky Balboa, that speech where life isn't all rainbows and sunshines. And I feel like that's significant to you. It's something that you repeat within yourself. It's kind of your logo, your stamp, if you will, because you agree with it. It's your theme of life. And you're letting me know by repeating this. You continue. I'm standing because I took the blows and didn't allow them to keep me down. I'm a warrior. I know I'm a warrior. I earned my badges of honor and I'm ready to stand my ground once more. All that is thrown at me are my stepping stones. I know where I'm going and nothing will stand in my way. I am determined. I am able. I am strong. So I sit with this. I sit with you as if you're right here in the room and I can hear you. I'm trying to tap in and become more discernful of the energy. And what I'm feeling is, although you don't show it, hence the speech I just heard, your logo, your manifesto, if you will, I think I can't help but feel this energy is riddled. Riddled is a good word because I don't even think you fully understand it, maybe, of sadness. But I feel like you've convinced yourself that you don't have time to grieve, to process this. Thus, I think it's important to clarify, you're sad, but I don't think you understand fully the roots of it all because you don't allocate your time. You haven't allocated your time because you know where you're going. And that seems to be more important. Moreover, you have an armor as thick as bone. This is very unique to me, the way this came in. Your armor is like bone, but bone can break. No, you aren't heartless, but the wall you built is only made for those who know how to impact it just right. And while I don't see a broken bone necessarily, I feel there's a chip or there's been a fracture to this armor. Been lighting up with the chills, the energy. Then I hear, and this is where I feel so touched, and so you're talking to me. I don't want to be seen, but I could use some guidance. I hurt Crystal, but I can't let the world know. It's not their business nor their place. Can I have a place of refuge, if only for a moment, to collect my thoughts? This is resonating so far. And this reading may be for you. I pull the heart of the spread to see the card that best represents you, as higher self as God sees it. And it comes with two cards. Now I'm going to take the time and I'm going to read both of the oracle cards, and then I'm going to combine it and tell you kind of how I perceive where you may be at, especially from the higher self, and whether you have allowed that to come into your consciousness or it's just beginning to boil up. But the first card that comes up was the mythic reality. Mythic reality, which is very interesting, right? Because right from the very, very beginning, you don't have time for nonsense. But what's mythic? Something is causing you concern at present because you are viewing the situation from only one perspective. Look with an open heart and mind, and you may see that a positive side also exists. Things may very well turn in your favor if you let go of preconceived ideas and rigid views. There are at least two perspectives from which to view every situation. What you see at the present is only part of the picture. Often what seems real to us may not necessarily be what is actually occurring. The true purpose of many of life's events is often unclear because of our false assumptions, fears, and misconceptions. There is no need for concern. Just allow things to naturally unfold and all will become clear to you. Remember, you may not have the power to change the world or many of the events in your life, but you have the power to change your perspective of them. An affirmation that follows with that, in fact, I'm going to save it. I'm just going to save it because I'm going to combine this, and I think it's just so fitting. The other card that fell out with it is Ascension. Trying to gain a higher spiritual state of awareness may feel like a long and slow process. Yet, remember that a part of your existence always is in a higher spiritual state. Higher consciousness is a knowing and a wisdom far beyond words of explanation. It is your true nature, the internal light of your soul. There's no point trying to reach it, just as there's no point in trying to escape your physical reality. To ascend spiritually is to accept and love your physical reality. Higher consciousness means being fully present in each moment. Stop trying to reach it, and you may just realize you are already there. Going back to the affirmation of the last card, all becomes clear when I view it from a higher perspective. Combine these two cards, and I can't help feel like there's a big call of surrendering the energy to the present moment of what is. There's definitely something at conflict here. And maybe you're trying to gain that higher perspective. But staying in a state of consciousness does require energy. Sometimes it's easier to get caught up in the past or the future, which is almost ironic because the past or the future kind of has a tendency of causing anxiety or fear, right? Whereas in the present is where we can find our peace and accepting and allowing all that has happened around us to settle. I don't think you've allowed what's happened around you to completely settle. We have an underlining energy with the Empress, but it comes in reverse. The Empress is all about birthing something into life, the creativity. But with it coming in reverse, it also reminds us that with birth, there's also a death. With every ending comes a beginning, and there is a lot of that in your reading. So as an underlining energy, I can't help but feel by looking forward, by being present, seeing what is, there can be a lot of gratitude and things that can blossom. Also by accepting the battlefields that you've already walked are behind you. So what's going on? You are at a pinnacle, and I feel like it's causing you a lot of distress. Your crossing energies come with both the Five of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Crossing energies. There's confliction. There's competitiveness. I feel though, so when we look at this, right, because as your crossing energy, we're looking at both sides of the equation. I can't help it, you are conflicting, or you are in competition, or you are struggling or fighting something that maybe you're afraid of fully witnessing, because on the other side comes an explosion of the volcano. Maybe it's all that pent up hurt. Maybe it's hurt. Maybe it's the grieving, the sadness, things that you haven't allowed yourself to fully express. But it's also being fine-tuned into this development of maybe what you are trying to perceive in the future. It's very interesting. Let me hear him put this out. As I meditate on this energy, I can't help but feel like, I'm just going to say it, feels like something personal, like a relationship, a dynamic has gone astray. And it's more than just one. Bear with me as I... Relationships that come up to mirror us help us get to root causes. And usually what's on the surface actually is led to a dynamic of our past experiences and multiple relationships that always come to a core. I can't help but feel like a relationship, a dynamic, something that's personal, that is intimate to you, has come to an end, is asking you to look at things that you conflict with, but you may have never fully dealt with, or maybe even scratched the surface, because there is possible rage or hurt that has yet to be fully dealt with. And I feel like it's being tapped at again. This hurt, these emotions that haven't been fully encompassed yet. But it comes with the dynamic of, I feel like you're trying to channel that in this warrior mentality of creating something. What's interesting, it's got two sides, right? Two sides of the story, two sides of a perspective. This side is, in my vice versa deck, represents the funder. He's creating the project. On the opposite side, you've got the workers that are creating it. Now, this comes with a few different ways you can look at this. It's recognizing that you are the founder of your blueprint, but to also acknowledge those who helped create it by giving gratitude and learning how to collaborate with them. Also, on a spiritual level, I feel like it's also seeing the guides, your ancestors, those who walk beside you, that are in the background helping you bring this forth. So as this is your crossing energy, I can't help but feel like there is conflicting energy. I feel like you are maybe actually suppressing, I'm just going to put it out there, I feel like you're probably trying to suppress the conflict by channeling that into something you were trying to build. However, you're not escaping it, because it still comes with trying to grasp, I think, is the unsettling behavior. I'm sorry, I feel like I've kind of gone on a tangent about that, but that's all that's coming in at the same point. So what's actually wrong? What's happening from your point of view? I feel like there's a strong pull. I'm just going to tell you the way I'm getting it from your download to this acknowledgement, but you not wanting to acknowledge it. So maybe it's the front that you put up for the public, the part where I don't want to be seen, but I could use some guidance. I can't let the world know. It's none of their business nor their place. So maybe it's like channeling this energy into this project, but with this internal guidance and knowing. of pain. Your point of view is you're juggling it, right? You're juggling something and recognizing within this balance, life goes forward. It comes with the Wheel of Fortune. It's again this similar energy. Birth and renewal. Birth, death. As the wheel turns, so does wisdom. So does the collective of understanding. And I keep on feeling with this card, the Eight of Pentacles, I'm just going to continue to focus on where I'm going. I'm going to focus on what I'm building, right? I'm focusing on this blueprint. I am focusing on, I know where I'm going and nothing's going to stand in my way. And that's what you're doing, right? This nose to the grind, chipping away at the Eight Pentacles, trying to balance these things, this internal conflict and this outward project. But there's the significance is the Wheel of Fortune. The significance is there's a new chapter. Something is moving and it's moving forward. You recognize that. You feel that. But I think the struggle is this inner conflict that you're having with yourself. Trying to ascend, trying to understand it. If I'm honest, I feel like you would rather bury it away. No, that's not true. I want to move through it. I want to embrace it and I don't want to feel it. So I asked Spirit, what is the real problem? As from the higher perspective. It comes with the Ten of Swords. I love it when it shows up on this side. There's so much you can tell from just this card alone. The Ten of Swords has pierced the armor, but the man himself sits and ponders at it. There's an eclipse. I'm again lighting up. So the Ten of Swords, it goes back to your own armor, which I feel is as thick as bone, meaning that it can be broken. I feel like it's been fractured or chipped. And I believe that can be just as painful as a broken bone. I've never experienced it, but it takes me to a memory. I remember my dad, he had chipped his rib cage and he was in pain forever because there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a slow healing process. But this man looks down at the armor. He's in contemplation. The armor, it has been pierced. It has been chipped. It has been fractured. But it's interesting. There's an eclipse that's happening right behind. Tens are also an end. But he's still alive. The sun, just because it goes through eclipse, isn't dead. It's still very much there. So is you. And I can't help but feel like Spirit's saying, no different than this man who's taking the time to contemplate all of this, so too should you. And that is more than okay. It's okay to sit in the dark, know that the sun, once the moon passes, the eclipse moves. You'll be enlightened. To observe what has been done, the way the swords have pierced. I'm getting this right now. I feel like Spirit's saying, by understanding the way the swords have been pierced, the way the hurt has inflicted you, will help you, son. Now I'm talking to a man, I think. Doesn't have to be just this one specific message that's coming through. It will help you in knowing when you fully understand this, and it's like once you understand how the piercings happened in the armor, once you understand that, once you heal from it, once you can tighten. It's like they're showing me the sword that gets pierced through the weak spot, right? Like there's two shields of armor, and there's a hinge or whatever, and it gets through the hinge because there's something for you to heal there. There's cracks there that can be mended. But unless you take the time to actually analyze that and break that down and look at how, and I feel like it's more than just this past circumstance or this last relationship, but how all the dynamics in your life, so you can heal from that and move forward from that. I'm getting the sense that you feel kind of like there's a repetitive habit again. And maybe that's what Spirit's calling for you. This energy is asking you to come in and heal it so that you don't have to, at least from a different angle, understand it. And you can move through it. What's the advice from Spirit? From advice to your potential outcome, and if I can just clarify, it comes with the underlying energy at the very end, right? I'll pull it together for you. I'm going to try to pull it all together, but your guidance from Spirit. Wow. All right, we have the Five of Swords. That's in reverse. What's interesting, what you don't see, right? Because this came on there's a conflict. Somebody is winning. He is boastful. And somebody feels defeated. But as the guidance, meaning I can't help but feel like that's what you've dealt with, and what you are feeling right now is this confliction from this personal dynamic, this relationship that has got you shaken. Maybe you feel like you've been defeated and they're standing proudly and boastfully. But I feel like Spirit's saying, by it showing up this way, shows you, so it shows this person walking away, right? It takes two to play the game. You remove one, there's no more competition. There's no more fight. It's clarified with the King of Pentacles. He too comes in reverse. The King of Pentacles, he's grounded, he's got it all. He's got abundance. And look at that fruitatious land. What stands out, though, is there's an ox in the background, signifying how strong you are. But he's looking forward. Moving forward, looking forward. And again, clarified once more with the Chariot, with his back towards us. This Chariot also screams so much to me. I can't help but see these stepping stones, or these stones that are falling away as the Chariot moves forward, as those stepping stones. those things, those stones that have been thrown at you, that you use to step forward, they helped you to get where you are at. But I feel like those stones can now fall away from you. What's more important about this, and this kind of goes back to that, as a part of guidance from Spirit, the beginning of this download, I got this very intellectual energy. Like, you use your mind. But the Chariot has a Cancerian energy about it. And the Cancers are very intuitive. And going back to like the Three of Pentacles, the spirit guides, your ancestors, those who walk beside you, can also help guide you through this healing, should you choose to. I feel like take the time to analyze what has fractured and pierced you and the hurt, and remove yourself from the toxicity of a dynamic, because you are strong and capable and abundant in many ways. But moreover, remember to lean in into your intuition. There's a higher self of you, I assure you, that knows how to help guide you to where you're headed. And I do think you know where you're going. And with the potential outcome, and when I read the potential outcome, it always comes with the strong, I read it as the strong energy that you are currently residing in, and what you may expect. And take the guidance, don't take the guidance. However it's going to reside. But again, we have two cards, and again, I get their backs. Let me pull this together, Spirit. We have a Queen of Pentacles. She comes in reverse. I have the Seven of Swords, who comes in reverse. When I read this energy, so the Queen of Pentacles, let's begin with this. Her back is turned. She's gazing into the future. What is behind her is actually a very tattered throne, but there's a column and it's broken. Oh my gosh, and I'm being called back. Back to your guidance, excuse me. One other thing I need to point out about the Chariot. Right here in the very corner is a cup. Right there. To me, that cup reminds me of the Ace of Cups. Is that about that self-love? Once my love overfloweth, I can give to others. You're shielding that. It's there. It's at your feet. But I don't think you're letting other people know about it. That's what came in really significant with that as well. Keep your cup full, moving forward. You're strong as an ox. Also, in that self-love comes that intuition and trusting yourself. And you can trust yourself more fully once you're able to embrace what you've been through. And keep on going back to that fractured armor to heal through it. Bringing us back to your potential outcome, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, her tattered back, the tattered back of her throne. She's a giver. But this card comes with a strong warning that if you don't take care of your own needs, how much can you give? Keeping that cup full, right? Because the column is broken. There's a huge column right here in which your conflicting energies of building. Moreover, clarified with the Seven of Swords, with his back turned, is this huge calling of one of the best ways of loving ourselves is to embracing both the shadow and the light. By embracing, being honest, and I feel like that's the strong call. Being honest and saying to yourself, admitting to yourself, by allowing your ego to drop, that you've been hurt, that there's grievance, and there are wounds. I feel like going forward, it's going to be about coming back to self-center, to center and healing those things. And one of the best ways of healing, I think, this is my own projection, but from my own, you know what I mean, for a long time, it's okay. It's okay to admit that you're hurt. It's okay to admit that whatever dynamic that has happened, which oftentimes the mirroring of the current relationship takes us back to our core again, of a core childhood wound that is asking to be looked at. And one of the best ways to begin to embrace that and to see where the armor is weak, or where you're scared to be vulnerable, is by admitting all that has hurt you. I'm going to pull one last card for advice. Let's see if we can finish this reading for you. And I'm sorry, I kind of, God, just trust that those messages came out right. Sometimes I feel like I blabber. We're at 30 minutes in. But there's so much energy here. And when I go in circles like that, I feel like it's because you may be going in circles. And trying to bring it all full circumference. Again, feeling where the roots of it are. Surrendering into the now so you can see that there's two sides of the equation. I feel like that's good. Sorry, we're not doing 8. Really quick, I gotta say this too. It didn't come out, but multiple times the hangman showed his head through this when I was doing the cards, which also indicates a different way of looking at things. Could go back to the mythic reality, right? Seeing it from 2 points of view, recognizing there's two sides of the equation. Here we go. Dearest you, as you think, so will you experience life. Thoughts are that powerful, and they need minding. Lighting up again. Let the unruly, chaotic ones settle down so they serve you or get released instead of wreaking havoc. These thoughts arise when connected to the energy of fear and often masquerade as truth. Yet the real truth is that essentially all is well. Of course, you have thoughts that are positive, strong, and organized, accepting, creative, open, and so on. Those are the ones we want you to keep thinking. And they have less frantic qualities. They're stimulating in a good way and don't get away from you. How do you keep an inner eye on your thoughts? Meditate and leave judgment out of the mix. Everyone has those fearful thoughts. Love them. Love yourself. And then choose the thoughts you want the world to reflect back. Life is not as hard as you think. Loving you so much. I feel like you are guided. You have so much support that you are not even fully aware of to help you move forward. This is the last thing I wanted to point out, and then I'll end it. There's something in the horizon. I want you to look at all these last cards that came out at the very end. Every single one of them, up to including the last card that was underlining energy. They're all looking forward. There is not one card here that faces. It's about going internal, the inner side, so that you can move forward. And remember, all is well. Choose your thoughts accordingly. By being in the present, heaven may already, that which you already seek may already be here. Come center. As always, I love you guys all so much. Until next time, namaste.